Hello, welcome to episode 137 of Fibertown. Today is January 15th, 2016. Welcome, everybody! I'm very excited to be chatting with you today. Alice is here. We're in my kitchen today. The lighting is terrible. I'm tired of trying to play with artificial lighting. So we are at the kitchen table where there is some natural lighting. And Alice is here. She's finally eating her breakfast, even though it's almost 2 in the afternoon. I'm having myself a lovely drink of coffee in my Deathly Hallows mug. It's very hot still, so bear with me. And Alice is here saying hello. We hope you all are very well. It's been a very nice Friday so far. I think she wants to come up. Just one sec. Give you a little Alice view while we talk about what's on the agenda. Oh my goodness, there's our girl. She's feeling a little out of sorts today. She's got a bit of a runny nose, and she's been eating a ton of grass in the backyard, and just generally acting stranger than usual. But she seems okay, not too bad off. Got a little doggy cold, Alice? All right, so we have some people to introduce. We have some cows to talk about. We have one FO today, many whips, because it's gotten a little out of control over here. We have spinning, sewing, acquisitions, and Ask Fibertown. What's going on over here? I haven't been paying attention. You need to get back down and eat your dinner? That's a trigger word. We got dinner. We got go. Walkies. What else? Cookie, of course. Squirrel. And kitty cat. I think that's about it. All right, sweet potato, go finish your breakfast. All right, everybody. So much. I'm surrounded by stuff here. It's a little different. Can't really see what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my Hitofude out of the Jones Street Copper Corgi. Got a little armpit shot there. And I'm wearing my monster cowl by the lovely Julia Allen. And I just felt like the chevrons sort of went with the lacy chevrons here. And they're both purple, so there you go. I've been out and about today already with a friend of mine and her 2 little kids. 2 of her kids, the littlest ones. And we went to Finch Sewing Studio in Leesburg. It was her first time, my second, and I have some things to show you from Finch. So let's get started. I want to say hello first to, bear with me, 2 lovely people who said hello on the Fibertown introductions thread. And guess what, everybody? We are 4 people away from 1,000 members at this point. People could come or go, as they always do. But yeah. I would love to give away that skein of Wollmeise. It's in my stash. And I was out today with the lovely lady who brought the Wollmeise for me from Germany. And it's the Glückstag colorway. But she told me today, or she reminded me, that it is a dunkel version, which means dark. And that's kind of a rare thing. So apparently it was a little more saturated than the typical Glückstag colorway. Okay. So, join the group, please, if you would like to. So, hello to Ebeling the Wasp. And she found me via Andre Sunitz, who is an amazing podcaster. There's just so much going on in her podcast. It's super well made. She does so many interesting crafts. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so she's Ebeling the Wasp, and she's B. B is her name. She's been knitting for a little over a year. How excellent. So she's starting to grow out of the things she started making at first, and she wants to do shawls and cowls. Oh, she's on her first pair of socks and wants to knit a sweater. That's so exciting. And no, sweater knitting is not daunting. Just I would say, from a philosophical standpoint, accept mistakes as part of the process. And they're a vital, important, critical part of the process. So you might want to look into gauge swatching, but still, just be ready. Just be ready. And eventually you will get something awesome. So thank you so much, Bee, for introducing yourself. And let's see, we also have Wendy Whalen. Yay, she joined the fun and came out of the shadows. She's from Mesa, Arizona, and the desert does get chilly. Yes, it does. So, ooh, she's a new spinner. Excellent. Oh, do start knitting with your hand spun, please, Wendy. Knit something. Your next thing should be a hat out of your hand spun, okay? All right? And she loves knitting, addicted to knitting. She's just started sock knitting as well, and she can't seem to get them done fast enough with the yarn that arrives at her door. FYI, don't worry about that. It's a collection. And I have started, just this week, I've pulled a few yarns out of my stash that have been in there for years, and they have finally found the appropriate project. So keep the yarn coming to your door. It'll be okay. Oh, she also makes Knitty Kitty bags on Etsy, and she likes Alice. Oh, so does Bee, by the way. Thank you both for saying hello. Excuse me, I have an itchy nose all of a sudden. And yes, I hope to see more of you saying hello on the thread, and I'll give you a shout out if you do. Okay, the grand prize winner of the Falcal Saki Knitter. I have not heard from you yet. Please get in touch, and I will send your stuff out to you. The Cozy Cal is the word for January. It's cozy, and I love what you guys are doing. I love what you're telling me about the feeling of coziness, or as I believe in Denmark they call it hygge. Hygge, is that right? Is it Danish? I'll have to ask some of my Danish friends. And I have quite a few Danish viewers. I hope I'm not making that up. It's Scandinavian for sure. Hi again, Al. Go away. So yes, till the end of January, anything that has got that feeling of coziness or something that reminds you of something cozy, relate your knitting or any crafting really that involves thread or yarn, so sewing included. Relate it back to that feeling of hygge or coziness. Yeah, coziness. We got a hand-me-down espresso machine, and you can froth milk with it. It's delicious. And I'm keeping it on my Baba, my Scottish sheep coaster from Claire of New Hampshire Knits. Lovely. Okay, my FO. I'm going to mess up my hair even more than it already is to show you this. This is the Cattywampus hat by Elizabeth Green Musselman. And it's out of hand spun, my Gandalf bat from Inglenook Fibers. It's beautiful yarn. It is significantly bigger yarn than the pattern calls for. And the pattern, there it is. The pattern is incredibly weird construction in a good way. But now that I know how the pattern works, I would not have cast on so many stitches because it's the slouchiest hat ever. And it actually, I'm going to take my hair down. We're going to have to do major hair stuff after this. It's a super duper hipster hat. So yeah. It's a great pattern. And I would definitely do it again with like some art yarn. That would be awesome. But I know more than I did going into it. And I would make a shorter hat. Because that's a lot of slouch, folks. But if you have dreads, totally would work. You keep bugging me. What is up? Do you want to play now? Goodness. All right, so that's it for FOs. I do have a hoe. That's somewhere over here, and I'm going to take this hat off. Bear with me. So that Gandalf yarn had just like everything. Can you hear the dog jumping? It had everything in it. It had Stansborough Gray. It had, North Ronaldsy. Okay, the hair is not great today, but it's just, I need a haircut, generally. So it's getting pulled back. Okay, let me show you my hoe. Pardon me. I have so much to show you this week. Al, you go and make yourself comfy. Go make yourself cozy. That's the word of the month. She's missed me. I've been gone a lot of the morning. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. All right. I just realized this is in my Highland Handmaids bag, and it's the Knitted Wit Victory Sock in the October Sky colorway. And I just realized that I left this sock in my bed. I wore the one finished sock to bed. It was super cozy, but it's probably still in my bed. So, I can't believe that. It's the Blueberry Waffle pattern. And there's the yarn. It's a very round yarn. It's lovely. Looped Yarnworks in DC has a bunch of Knitted Wit. Yeah, Knitted Wit at the moment. There's some beautiful speckles as well. So this is being knit. Ooh, hang on. No, I don't want to switch cameras. Okay. Okay, I hope that wasn't a snafu. I was saying that I'm knitting these socks on US 1.5s, 2.5 millimeters. These are Chogu metal DPNs. The dog is clawing at my leg. Here's the second sock. It's a Blueberry Waffle pattern. It's squishy and lovely. And I can't believe I don't have it, but trust me, it's finished. That is work in progress number 1. Work in progress number 2 is another sock. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I do have the sock. It's here. Sorry. There it is. I was actually going to put it on a blocker. Now I remember. Best laid plans. So there's the plain. I am not blueberry waffling over the whole circumference of the sock. It's my usual sock pattern, 64 stitches. There's the blueberry waffle pattern, and I did stop when I started the toe decreases. Just did plain stockinette. There's my riverbed gusset and my heel flap. And it needs a block. There they are. Okay, here's the other sock. In my Megan bag, my Megan Bird bag. You are really starting to get on my nerves. I know you want to be up here, but it's just not the right spot for you. This next sock is for my husband. He picked out the yarn. It is Barefoot, that's the base, by Mountain Colors. This has been in my stash for a while, and this is, what colorway is this? Gold Rush. This has 60 superwash wool, 25 mohair, and 15 nylon. So it's like double strength, mohair and nylon. So again, it's a blueberry waffle. There's the back. There's the front. Doing the leg, the same I do for mine. I may increase stitches wise on the foot because his foot is a bit wider than mine. Oh my gosh, this dog. All right, I'm gonna get you up. Just don't claw my sweater, please. So yeah, I'm at the 15th of the month and I have a completed sock plus a third of a completed sock. And yes, I'm on track for my pair a month. So that is cool. Do you want to come up now? Come here. Now she's all rethinking that whole thing. So my next cast on is for my Aunt Karen. And she saw my Aunt Gloria wearing a hand-spun hand-knit hat by me. And she said, "Can I request one? I would love to purchase one." And I said, "My aunt, I want to knit you a hat. I wouldn't ever charge you." And I said, "What color do you want?" And she wanted something red. There we go. So I sent her a picture of 3 possibilities. One was a hand-spun merino, the one I recently did. The other was a brown sheep, worsted. And the other one was a Socks That Rock. And she picked the Socks That Rock. So this has been in my stash for a few years, like I want to say Maryland 2013. And Socks That Rock lightweight in the farmhouse colorway. Blue Moon. I got it from the fold at Maryland. And I'm making a sock head hat. And this is really not easy to do, Alice. So you're going to stay right there? be right there? Okay. I'm on a kitchen chair, so it's not really the sturdiest way to do this. There it is. It definitely has red, but it's a very saturated rainbow. And I knit the ribbing, and I sent her a picture and said, does this look like something you would wear? And she loved it. So we have definite sort of stripy pooling on the ribbing, and I did 4 inches of ribbing. I did the ribbing on US 4s, 16 inch, and that is a, oh goodness, is that a 3 millimeter? Don't quote me, it's, I don't know. And then I switched to 5s, US 5s, which is like a 3.7, okay, all right. Does it say? Probably not. Oh, it does. These are Chowgu 5s. Yes, 3.75 millimeter. Love the way the stockinette knits up. So, farmhouse colorway, it was especially appropriate because she lives on a farm in Orange County. No, Louisa County, near the city of Orange. She lives on a farmhouse, in a farmhouse where they have a cattle farm, meat cattle, and gosh, I don't know how many acres. I think they have hundreds of acres, and so it just seemed appropriate, the farmhouse hat. And I've been there. The cattle, it's funny, the cattle, when they're free ranging, they like to live in the woods. So the moms and the calves they're right sort of at the edge of the woods. You picture livestock grazing on fields, but I think they like the protective feeling of the woodlands. So that's going to be a hat for her, and I'm thinking I'm going to have to make a hat for her husband as well. So anyway, they have a little poodle named Nicholas, who is just adorable, and I don't know why I'm telling you this. And she has my grandmother's Yorkie, Peaches, who has been quite in a delicate mental state since my grandmother passed away about a year ago. So my aunt definitely deserves a hat. She took care of my grandmother at the end of her life, or for the whole end of her life, for over a decade. So I'm very happy to be knitting her this hat and putting lots of love into it. Okay, what next, Alice? Are you going to insist on being on my lap like this? With your booty right in my face? Okay, the Nanook. Let me take a sip before I tell you about this. And I don't think this is going to work out. I think you're going to have to get down. Want to get down? Do you think there's a squirrel out there? You think you should check? Okay. Okay. It's my Tula Deer bag. It's holding my Nanook, and I'm on to the second to last skein. Let me fix this. So, US 6s, that I can tell you is a 4 millimeter. And there's the second to last skein. This is a hand-spun 3-ply Cotswold Coopworth lamb. Okay. Now, the fronts are garter stitch, which eats up a lot of yarn, and I'm a little worried about running out. And I have a little bit left on a bobbin of this little bit of a single left on a bobbin. So I have a swatch I could rip out too, but it's not a huge swatch. So I'm fingers crossed, and I'm modifying things a little bit. That's the last skein. It's not a hefty skein. I don't have that. I have about 3 ounces left. And the back is much longer than the fronts, and that's the way it's supposed to be if you look at the Nanook. So I'm just below mid-back. So the other thing that eats up yarn is this big collar. And I just didn't take these things into account. But I think I'm going to be okay. I love the lanolin smell of this yarn. I think I'm going to be all right. It looks great. The arms are a little tight, so I want to block them. Even though I did add like 10 extra stitches to the arms, it's still a bit snug, especially in the armpit. So fingers crossed for blocking. Oh, one other modification I'm doing to sort of decrease the amount of garter. I'm thinking of going up to a US 7 for the rest of the sweater because a bigger needle will make a less dense fabric, use less yarn. It's kind of counterintuitive, but that's how it works. So every right side row, I have begun turning one of the garter stitches into a stockinette stitch. So I'm getting this diagonal line as the garter stitch kind of goes down. So I'm feeling like at the sides I'll have this diagonal line towards the bottom, which could be flattering. So that's one modification I'm making. I haven't touched it in a few days, but I was going gangbusters for a while. I would really love to have this done for the cozy knit along because it would be a super cozy sweater. And I feel like maybe we could have a big snowstorm once I get this sweater off the needles. So I better hurry up because I love a big snowstorm. Okay, so the last work in progress that is knitted is the doodler. I think I showed you guys last week. And something I have not shared on the podcast is about my doodler, which is the Stephen West 2015 Mystery Knit Along. One thing I have not shared is that, it's going to sound so bizarre, but the doodler, I think it has a life of its own. And in fact, when I would pass the Jan B. Smiley Motorini bag in which it resides, it would whisper in my ear in the nasty little voice, "You better finish me. You better put a third color on me." I'm fully aware you probably think I'm nuts, but it was talking to me. So I found some scraps of hazel knits. And yes, it has been knit before. Hoppy Blonde in the Artisan Sock. And I started knitting the first wedge. There it is. So yes, I decided to not use the Yak Blend Gourmet Stash yarn, and I think the doodler's a little mad about that. Like, I didn't use the most luxurious on it. Am I sounding even weirder? Yeah. So there's not enough for all the wedges because those wedges take up a ton of yarn. So I'm going to stripe them. I have the hazelnut sassafras that I used as color B. I have the leftovers of the Northbound Knitting in the, oh goodness, what was that colorway? That was the Metallurgy. Metallurgy? I think it was Metallurgy. And then I have this, which I just had in my scrap yarn stash. It's a possible extra stripe. So the doodler gets doodled on once in a while. And now I'm going to put him back in his, because it's a he. It's going back in the bag, and hopefully he will just hush for a while because I have other things to knit. Okay, now that you're completely weirded out, let me show you my spinning. I have a spindle project. Tunis. Tunis sheep from the Ross Farm. These are all on drop spindles. So my Je suis prêt from the Spanish Peacock, and my Moosey from Bosworth. They both have some Tunis. And this is all I've got left. This will be a 3-ply. This is the rest. It's going on my Golding. This ply is going to be significantly smaller than the others because this is my Golding, my Tsunami, and it's just a lovely spindle. It's lightweight. The weighted rim, because this rim is metal, the weighted rim really makes it spin forever. Something about centrifugal force, I think. So that's being worked on. Now I also have, excuse me, as I come down here and get this, I have finished spinning the singles for yogurt. Let me just bring this up. There they are. An embroidery hoop. So there's the first. Then I have all of these 1, 2, how many bobbins? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I thought I had 10 bobbins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 10, 9 bobbins. 9 bobbins of yogurt singles. So that's a 3-ply and it's pretty fine. Spun on my ladybug on the second smallest ratio, and yeah, I would be plying them on the smallest ratio to get a nice tight-ish twist. So I hope I have enough for a simple stockinette sweater. I think I will. I think I'll have about 1,200 yards. If I do not, I have plenty more yogurt. I just would like to be done with the combed version of yogurt. Now, it was interesting spinning my little combed nests because some of the washings, it was a big fleece and I had washed it in stages. And there were variations in water temperature and amount of soap. So I had some that were very quite dry in terms of lack of lanolin, and then some that had lots of lanolin. The more lanolin-y fleece was harder to draft. Not impossible, but it required, like if I had a clump of lanolin, sometimes I would pull on it a little, on my long draw, pull on it, and I had to pull harder than usual, and I'd get a very fine single. So it was easier to draft long draw without lanolin, I thought. And the more greasy lanolin-y it was, the less it lends itself to long draw, the more I found myself occasionally having to short forward draw before I could pass like a tricky spot and get back to my long draw. So less consistent with more lanolin in the fleece. So the next step will be plying and then dyeing, and I'm going to dye this a silvery gray. So hopefully that's the end of the combing of yogurt. Now, I do have plenty of yogurt left that is in bat form, and then I did reserve about 6 ounces of locks to comb more if I need it. Hopefully I won't need it. Now, I would really like to spin some colored fleece after this. Something very colorful, maybe hobbledehoy. In the next few weeks, I'll be getting my first shipment of the Highland Handmaids Fiber Club, and that will be very exciting. I've never joined a fiber club of any sort, yarn or fiber, and I'm very excited for that. So, I like a mystery. Now, if you have a lot of braids of, oh hi baby, similar colored yarns, 4 ounces here or there, not yarns, fibers. 4 ounces, like in the purple family, or the purple and blue, or the green and yellow, what have you. Take a look at the Passionate Spinner podcast on YouTube. She recently did, it's Teresa. I think it's Teresa. She's got a lot of really interesting projects, and I've been very inspired by her work. And she did a tutorial of how she divides multiple braids of fiber to spin for a sweater. So it's very simple, but she just shows her process and some of her FOs where she has used this, and they're stunning. So if you have completely different fibers, completely different colorways, they can still all come together into a gorgeous garment. Alice had to wear her Noro sweater on some walks because it was very cold. And see, she's very hairless under here. All right. Sewing and embroidery. And I don't know why you have to keep coming up here when I'm trying to show people stuff. Oh, let me show you what my son embroidered when he was homesick on Monday. Okay. I used my wonderful book of iron-on transfers that I showed a few episodes ago. We put a squid on some muslin, and he's doing backstitch. He's doing a beautiful job. He is 8. You all have met him before, and I have just found myself reaching for my embroidery more and more these days, and I'm going to do a stitch or two on his because it just has been calling to me. I have watched Rebecca Ringquist's class on Creative Bug at the urging of my friend Sarah Pomegranate, and that's what I'm going to show you next. I have been really wanting to work on it, having a lot of fun doing it. I even got to put some yarns into it, so put a few stitches in that. Let me show you what it looks like. So this is the drop cloth sampler, and it's designed by Rebecca Ringquist. This is the first one. She has many. So take a look. I have a dog on my lap trying to balance this. I've done backstitch all around her little embroidery hoop frame. I've done all the chain stitching. You've seen this all before, backstitch, running stitch. Then I did the filled stitches, and there I've used that Socks That Rock in the farmhouse colorway to fill the running stitches. So you do it this way, then you do this way, and then this back and forth here. Love the way it looks. Really, really enjoying this. I had an aha moment as I saw her do the French knot, because I've tried that in the past and never looks the way it should or stays the way it should. So she recommends using a milliner's needle, which I have ordered, and just inexpensive. And then when you watch her technique on the Creative Bug class, it's a light bulb moment. So, lovely time working with this. And let me just show you, I'm going to intersperse acquisitions here. She uses a lot of variegated thread, and I found some sashiko thread at Finch Sewing Studio today. So I'm excited to put that in there as well. So, it's the beginning of sewing. It's not the end. What else do we have sewing-wise? Pardon me as I try to deal with all of this stuff. All my spindles down there. It's not easy when you have a dog on your lap, Alice. Okay, so this is kind of an FO, but it goes in the sewing category. I also went to Oh So Persnickety last weekend, and I made a table runner, a quilted table runner. And I will show you the fabric I used. It's a quilt as you go kind of thing. So she had a sale. This was 50% off, this fabric. I did where is the one? Right there. I did some swervy, curvy quilting on that one, some straight line quilting, and I backed it with the same fabric as my curtains. And this sits on the kitchen table. The fabric for that is this, and it is it's a layer cake by Moda, and this was called Real Time. So it has like a movie theme. Some of these have this isn't all the fabrics. I've actually put them in my stash already, but some of them have sort of a film strip look to them, or a movie reel. So just something for me to play around with. What else also at Oh So Persnickety, she has the best selection that I have seen of, I'm looking for it. Here it is, of grosgrain ribbon. Gorgeous. This is Oh So Persnickety in Gainesville. No, Haymarket, Virginia. So this will hopefully line the button band of a future sweater. How beautiful is that? Love, love, love her ribbon selection. And then I picked up, for 50% off, she has a lot of sales, or she had a lot of sales. I picked up half a yard of this. Horses in a field. There's one with a little girl on it, bareback. Along with this one, which reminds me very much of the movie Totoro. My neighbor Totoro. And also the trees in our backyard in June, July, they fill up with lightning bugs and the whole tree lights up. It's a tall, tall trees out there just when the lightning bugs are, basically mating. They're filled with lights, blinking lights. So yeah, I picked up those for 50% off. Now today I went to Finch Sewing Studio in Leesburg. A very, very happy spot. Very happy. I picked up a few things there. Let me show you. That was the end of the latte. I got a fat quarter of this yarn balls. How fun is that? That will line a bag most likely. And I got this, a charm pack of Moda Little Red. So Little Red Riding Hood. Adorable, adorable, adorable. I think this will be a gift for my niece, who is 6. This is so up her alley. And then this. I showed you the variegated thread. I was hoping for another Rebecca Ringquist sampler. I wanted to do the Paisley one. But she is apparently on maternity leave and will not be shipping things until next month. Okay, I got one of the new birch fabrics, and I got a fat quarter. And I am excited beyond belief about this. So, these are going to get cut out and made into quilted coasters. So, there's the bear. I love this one, the bird in it. I love the horse. It's a weird mixture of sort of Scandinavian with sort of pseudo Native American stuff thrown in there. I'm not really wild about the Native American stuff because it seems very stereotypy and non-PC. There's a teepee on here. There's a little Indian maiden, Native American maiden with a raccoon. So, but there's tons that I do love, and the horse looks like a Dala horse, the Swedish Dala horse. It's a really weird design in a lot of ways, I think. There's the red horse right there. But also very fetching in other ways. I love this floral right here. So I'm going to quilt cut these out, quilt them, batting and like a backing fabric, and then make coasters. This is, again, birch, and it's a brand new fabric line. I think Finch just got it in this week. So a few more acquisitions before we do Ask Fibertown. And I cannot have you up here anymore. You can't just sleep on my lap like that. Do you want to sit on the chair by yourself? All right, one other quilty sewing thing. I showed you this top last week. You all right? No, you're not all right, are you? Come here. All right. I quilted it this week, and I did this sort of rectangular spiral quilting effect. And you can see better on the back. And I got this ideas out of this book, Quilt As You Go Made Modern. I think I saw this on Love Sock Wool and the Passionate Spinner podcast. They've both been giving me a lot of sewing and quilting inspiration. Okay, is that it? Oh, one other thing about Finch. They have, as you go up the stairs, it's a beautifully decorated space, and it's really, it's 2 stories in a townhouse. An older building as well. They have the perfect idea for what I want to do with my granny's doilies. They have framed them in embroidery hoops. So, I have this whole basket of doilies crocheted by my granny, Esther Bell. They are totally going to go in embroidery hoops. and be hung up. I'm very, very, very excited. I will show you guys as I get them done. What else? Some of them are damaged. I think this is a collar, actually. That one's discolored. It's like a spider web pattern. This one is a Barbie doll dress. Probably was for me at some point. That one. So these are going to be framed and viewed with pleasure. Finch has a whole wall on their stairs of these. They're perfect. My friend Janice went to the Pacific Northwest, and all I got was some wonderful yarn. So she went to Tolt, and I had visited Tolt's website, and when she said, "Is there anything you want me to get for you?" So I said, "Yes, would you pick me up 2 skeins of this Snoqualmie Valley yarn, BFL and Clun Forest." This is 280 yards of a light DK. I got an orange one too. I'm thinking brioche hat, don't you think? But BFL and Clun Forest, how unusual a blend is that? Very lovely. Thank you, Janice, for picking those up for me. And then she also sent me a surprise with lots of mini skeins. So look at some of these gorgeousnesses. I think this is Lollipop. This is definitely Lollipop. This is Hedgehog. Gorgeous. I'm just showing you a fraction. I think this one is Mustache. Everything is awesome. This is Socks That Rock. Rock. Rock rhymes with walk, doesn't it? And then these. Look at these. Now there are a whole bunch of other skeins, but these are all the ones that are that I remembered. And really, really cool stuff. So some of these were from her other friend, her co-host Anne. So I'm excited to use those up as I go. The sock yarn blanket has not seen any action. But yeah, it'll come back. One last acquisition this week. Oh, no, that's not true. I have one more after this. I was at Looped. I've been going to all the fun places, I know. Before I talk about this new yarn, my quotes, my cross-stitched quotes. I will be doing another one that says always in honor of Alan Rickman, who was my boyfriend, one of my boyfriends. And I'm very sad that all the Englishmen seem to be passing away this week. All the beloved ones. Anyway, he was beloved to me. Okay, so this is Rowan Brushed Fleece. It is a bulky single. It is wool and alpaca. It is super soft, and it would be super warm. So this is, I think, is going to be a hat for the farmer husband of my aunt. And yeah, he has not requested a hat, but it seems only right to send him one as well. The last acquisition, I'm just going to show you briefly. It is a yarn that I have to review, and it is from the Feel Good Yarn Company out of North Carolina. And it was sent in this beautiful bag, and I have a sheet to read about. Okay, they have other weights of yarn, but they have just released a sock weight of silver spun. This is from the Feel Good Yarn Company, silver spun sock weight. Here is, it's 400 yards, 87% combed cotton, 5% silver, 5% nylon, 3% spandex. Now watch the bounce on this. I don't know if you can tell. It's really nice. It's got a soft feel for cotton. The silver is what is really interesting about this yarn. 5%. The silver content makes it therapeutic and conductive. So if you want to make gloves, you can use your smartphone. It inhibits the growth of odor-causing bacteria, Has excellent thermal properties, non-toxic, and is perfect for those suffering from diabetes, arthritis, and sensitive skin. It's permanently adhered to the yarn and will not wash out. So again, I think this is out of the University of North Carolina. They're the ones who first developed this yarn. So my mother has broken her feet. Actually, I have too. So maybe I will make Rose City rollers for both of us. I need to figure out how many stitches to cast on given the different properties of this yarn, given how squishy and stretchy it is. I need to play around with it. I need to swatch with it and perhaps look at what other people have done. So I think it's just now starting to come out. So I will review this probably in February when I skein it up and start to knit with it. But isn't that a pretty color? I think they have, it's pretty much solid colors, but it has this heathering with the silver in there, and you can see the silver. Very bouncy and very nice. So, oh goodness, we're having a long show today, Al. I do have an Ask Fibertown that I have not really looked at or prepared for, so bear with me. Okay, so Mrs. Frozzy, she is a newbie spinner and was wondering if I knew of a good video tutorial on chain plying. She has another question in here as well. Daily Fiber, who's Caroline, who is a spinning teacher, wonderful spinning teacher, basically gave her the same advice on that thread that I would have done, which is to watch the Sarah Anderson YouTube video. And Caroline put a link on there too. It's just on the Ask Fibertown thread, and she put a link to the Sarah Anderson tutorial. What really helped me when I was trying to learn how to chain ply or Navajo ply is to really slow down my treadling and put my wheel on the largest ratio. And that meant that, let me put that back. That meant that, here we go, that the whole process was going slower and I had more time for my hands to manipulate what they needed to do with the single. So it's like a crochet chain, basically, when you're chain plying. So yeah, slow down. Maybe put some tension on your Lazy Kate to keep your single from going crazy, like my hair. So yeah, the Sarah Anderson video, I believe I watched that over and over before I really kind of felt like it was ingrained in my brain. So the other thing she asks is, nothing to do with knitting, spinning, or weaving, but I'd love to know how many languages you speak and which ones. From the podcast, I gather English, French, and maybe Spanish. Any other ones I'm asking because I love anything to do with foreign languages. And that was actually my very first passion. Sort of spanned academics and my my life in general. I speak English a little bit, and I speak French, and I speak more and more Spanish, having married a Spaniard almost 20 years ago. Now I can speak, my other grandmother was Italian, born in Rome. I have sort of like culinary culinary Italian and like several bad things. I can say several bad things in Italian, and I can get around the Rome bus system, which is no mean feat. But that's about it for Italian. A few words of Catalan, which is what they speak in northeastern Spain, Barcelona, for example. They don't speak Castilian Spanish. It is spoken, but it's not the native language there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. French, I lived in France for a year. I would say at one point I was a near native fluency level, and I have taught French, and it's still there. It's not as current as it used to be for sure, but you know, I've been speaking Spanish every summer and not French, and I'd love to go back to France soon, see some friends. My daughter is now studying French. She wants to go to France, so we will see. We shall see. So what languages do you speak, Mrs. Frozzy? And what makes you so interested in foreign languages? I'd love to know, because I do think that speaking and understanding a foreign language makes you understand English even better, your native language, or whatever it might be if it's not English. And makes your brain work in ways that you didn't know it could. So, a very valuable thing that I think too many Americans do not experience. Alice speaks both doggy and English, right? She's definitely not feeling quite herself today. All right, so you guys, thanks for hanging out with me for, wow, an extra long time today. I wanted to catch up with the best and all that jazz. I have a few things I'd love to tell you about today, but I don't think they're quite ready to be talked about. So yeah, I won't say anything more than that, but just leave you with a little teaser. And so until next time, everybody take care.